original.
Okay.
The original cast.
Right, the original.
Right. I was thinking about. I was like, time just goes so quickly,
I
Lord.
know, right?
Yeah, because we did that. Was that 2018? That was 2018.
Mm-hmm.
2017?
Last year was
That was
part 2.
18. I
Yeah.
think that was 18.
You said
Yeah.
what? You can you hear them? Okay, it sounds like I can hear y'all.
hmm It's just delayed. That's all.
Just a little delay. Okay. Okay, but people can at least hear y'all. Hi. They came right on time.
Praise ye the Lord.
And
Come on in, saints. Sit down, saints. Sit
I
down.
love that shirt. You ain't too bad yourself, Prophet Ray.
Thank you.
Yes. You better be dressed for church, sir.
Yep, right there on the camera.
Yes, sir.
You're already online?
Mhm.
Yes, sir.
You see me straight in my head?
Yep, you good.
Hi.
You good.
Sir, your hair is fine. You good.
Thanks. Yeah. Do he take longer to get ready than you, Nakia?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You can tell already.
It's her.
You can tell all right. He's like, and my
Because of
husband.
his hair.
But he always threatened to leave me.
Why y'all not dressed up? This ain't the date night. They dressy.
He always got to come back in the house. Is that him?
Say it
too?
ain't so.
I'll do that.
Say it-
Oh,
oh,
okay.
okay.
Yep. Sound familiar? Oh, okay.
So,
Okay.
I'm gonna take this
He be like, I'm ready.
Cut to this on their faces. I'm just
Oh,
gonna take your
yeah.
logo
Go ahead.
off.
Take it off.
This is our regular wear.
This is
Not
regular.
just- this is regular wear. This
Ray
is what
and
we lay
Nakia, this
around
is
this
Robin.
house.
Hi, Robin.
How you doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Welcome everyone to Rocky's Reality. We are getting started soon.
Yeah, so there's a delay.
Yeah, this is what we lay around the house with.
So that's probably why we gotta take the sound down. But yeah, I'm not gonna hear it when you.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're good. Yeah. So okay, there you're right here.
They're here.
Y'all, the city of Detroit.
Y'all smell good too. I love when people smell good. Y'all know I got things for smells.
Well, they could have the opposite problem.
Listen.
You know what?
Hello,
Don't be throwing.
somebody.
Look at you throwing shade. You be just throwing shade.
Oh, y'all can hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Shade thrower.
Yes.
Okay. Can you hear us?
Clear.
Oh, flip your headphone.
This one.
Yep.
Oh.
I'm having issues with my left and rights today. Like,
Lord.
okay. Scooch a little bit down this way. No, yep. Y'all just slide a little bit. Yep, over. So I can get y'all more on the camera. Okay.
Like that.
Mm-hmm.
Can you still hear me? Yeah, I can hear you.
Here, just push it up to you a little bit. Yep, there you go. There you go.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
I'm trying to find this on Facebook, but I can't see it.
All right.
The Rockies Reality Facebook page. Celeste, you good? You got all your snacks and stuff? She can't hear me?
I'm good.
Why she make it seem like you just eat snacks throughout the whole broadcast?
Oh, did y'all want some water? I'm sorry.
Lord.
Oh,
If they did, they don't want it now.
Ooh, Tanisha. You was just being naughty.
I was ministering on Sunday and my mouth was so dry and them armor bearers was just looking.
You said Army Bears.
Armor bearers.
I just shared it.
Oh, ain't they supposed to be bringing the water? Ain't that what they supposed to be doing? The Army Bears.
They was watching the struggle. My mother
Who's watching the struggle?
she was
Right.
It's water.
Right.
Well,
She talking. Okay, let's go ahead and get started because I know Tanisha has to hop off at 7:30. Thank you,
Yes,
Robbie.
ma'am.
Grabbing y'all some water. We got folks watching already. Folks is nosy. Y'all ready to hear my marriage? I love it. Y'all ready to get nosy, ain't you? Marriage Uncut Part 3. Lord knows. He knows. Thank you so much, Robin.
You're welcome.
Shout out to Robin.
Thank
Robin,
you
I
so
love
much.
you.
shout out to Robin.
I love Robin.
I'm gonna do another.
We love you, Robin.
God is so good. I'm glad our paths crossed. Seriously, what's been like 5 years now, Robin?
Yeah,
Oh
and
my God.
because I was pregnant with my son at that brunch or lunch.
No,
Remember?
no. I met you at the She Project. That New Year, New You Do You. That's when I first met you.
Really?
Yes.
I thought you met when I almost passed out, and that's when I was
At the
pregnant.
brunch, yeah. That was after we had already met before that.
When you almost
At
passed out.
Carletta Tuck.
Yeah, because I was pregnant and I didn't know yet, and
So no.
I'm glad it was you and not me.
I was like,
That's all I'm gonna say. I'm done with being pregnant. I'm done. Ain't nothing coming up out of here again. We are done. There's no more room. Okay. Okay, we ready.
I want a dog.
She ready.
Y'all got kids?
We got several children.
Oh, okay. And you want
We
to
got 12 kids.
No, the
kids?
kids are grown.
They got 12 kids.
Oh my gosh.
Huh? We about to get into it. We about to get into it. Hey. I'm excited to be back in the studio.
There's no feeling like the studio.
I know.
Yeah,
Oh,
Hey,
yeah.
honey.
I was grateful that I could do.
Right there on Shayna.
Oh, let me turn this down. Or is that who's that saying, hey, honey?
Mute, Ortavia.
Oh, okay. Hey, boo. You gonna have him come on so we can see him on
He ain't gonna come on.
there? Okay. Well, anywho, welcome to Rocky's Reality. Today we are talking about Marriage Uncut. Actually, we are coming back to Marriage Uncut because this is part 3.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
Look like, what are you shaking your head for, Tanisha? What is it?
I'm sorry, y'all. That's me.
Oh, okay. It's like, Tanisha, what you shaking your head for?
Yes. Part 3.
You said what, part 3?
It's part 3.
What did I say? What did I
You
say?
said part 3, and I said yes.
Okay, I thought you were like shaking your head like I had did something. Okay, so back in 2018, part 1. Then last year was part 2, and now part 3. With more couples and more juicy stories, especially in the midst of a pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just first say, I want to give y'all a hand clap for staying together during the pandemic. Seriously,
Yes.
literally know 4 close friends who are in the midst of divorce or have already divorced in 2020. Literally, it's not just people who I just know of, but literally people who are friends and family of mine.
Yeah.
Who
Wow.
are in the midst of dissolving their marriages or have already. So it's really a testament to how certain things rise to the surface when you go through certain stuff.
Right.
Welcome everyone in the studio today. I have Prophet Ray and Nakia Shipman. Okay. Glad you are there. And then via StreamYard, I have Ortavia McLean, Celeste Blackman, and the mastermind behind Marriage Uncut, Tanita or Tanisha, however you want to call her, Beth Johnson. Yes, Hunter, yes. So welcome everyone. I appreciate you all being here. Tanita, we're gonna start with you because I know you gotta hop off soon. What made you, and I probably asked you this last time, but just for the heck of it again, what made you do Marriage Uncut besides being a dope author and an influencer? What made you say, I'm gonna do a Marriage Uncut anthology?
So you want to ask about the Marriage Uncut anthology in general, or the Marriage Uncut 3 regarding the pandemic?
Well, let's start with the anthology. What made you first conceive the idea to do the Marriage Anthology? Marriage Uncut anthology, and then yes, come to part 3. What made you pick this theme for part 3?
Right. So the whole premise of the book, Rocky, is that people get into marriages and they think they're the only ones going through something. Like they think they're the only people who want to get divorced 8,672 times, and me and you have been me. We have walked away, we have packed bags, we have split finances, we have split children, we have split furniture, we have split everything you think you can split, and we are still here. the problem is people don't talk about those times, but you see it on Facebook, you see it on Instagram, hashtag relationship goals, people in Cancun like Rocky, they loving on each other with the swimming suit, all the rest of them. We show the good part, but nobody wants to see the bad part. Nobody shows the bad part. So that's the whole premise of Marriage Uncut. And then this year, specifically, like you said, Rocky, with the pandemic, we saw the divorce cases rise, not go down. We saw them rise. And so we wanted to write Marriage Uncut Part 3, Prospering in the Midst of a Pandemic, because there are marriages that went the opposite way. There are marriages that are stronger than they've ever been before in the midst of this pandemic.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? I love what you said, Tanita, about being real about marriage, because that's something I've learned. I mean, I'm just an open book trans. I'm TMI anyway. But with anything in life, I've just learned just to be transparent, and that has really freed me from a lot of being held up with my insecurities and stuff. I find when you are transparent with people and let them know my shit is just as messed up as yours. Your works. And not to compare traumas, but just to let people know this is the reality of it. And that's why I've been so open about the things that have happened in my own marriage, to let people know. And I know a lot of people feel like, oh, you shouldn't be spilling your business and all of that. It's not really for gossip's sake. I know people want to gossip about it, and they do. Really, my message is to let people know that even though you go through those trials,
you help somebody else.
Help someone else. And that's always the feedback. And I'm sure people are talking mess too, but I don't care. I feel like marriage is a ministry. And I feel like
absolutely.
Marriage gets a bad rap a lot of times.
It does.
The negative stigma that we put in marriage, because it is hard. But just like any other relationship, you have to work at it.
Absolutely.
You have to know that we have some good times and we have some bad times. We have some great times and we have some horrible times. Also showing how you come out from that too, or also showing how sometimes you got to move on. From there. I think that's a really important piece, and I think that's something that Tanisha and I both share, that we want to be open and honest. And I think it comes with maturity, because we've both been married about 18 years. And Nakia, how long have you all been married?
We've actually only been married for almost 3 years.
Oh,
they babies, they don't count.
Right, based on the number of years of marriage. But we've known each other and been together longer than y'all have.
Okay.
We were engaged.
Clear that up.
And I was for over 5 years.
Oh, okay.
Right.
So y'all came back, y'all separated and came back to each other.
We separated, we were married, we were still best friends.
Married to other people, you said?
Married to other people. Our spouses hated it.
Oh, here, put this up a little bit more.
We just actually went through some of the old emails that old spouses were like. It was crazy, but we separated. I was out after going out to a club. I was on a date, and we were at Coney Island on 696 in Gratiot. At which point I was not working. I was only working out. Only working out, eating, and working out. So I was at 190 pounds, all muscle. Like, and I knew when I walked into
that Coney Island up.
I knew when I walked into a room, people were like, "Who is this?"
Really?
Running up behind me and was
You're
like,
so humble.
"Why weren't you working out like this when we was together?"
And that was her.
It was her. So we have never been separated.
Wow.
We have always been together. And we just
okay, so we're gonna come back to y'all in a minute.
Wow.
So y'all put some time in. Y'all got some time. Well, now I don't want to say time served, but
That's what it was.
That's
Time served.
So Tanita, for you though, what helps you? Because Tanisha, you've been married to Jermaine. Now, did you do a chapter in this book as well, Tanisha? I don't think you did a chapter.
I did. Yep, my chapters at the end is called Brown Sugar.
Oh, hey.
Yeah.
So what thing did you spill? Because part 2, you were talking about how you have been molested, your addiction porn. So what juiciness did you spill this time?
Yeah. So this particular,
we want people to buy the book, of course, but what did you address? What things?
right. So we all know the movie Brown Sugar, where the whole thing is, when did you fall in love with hip hop? And hip hop is not really hip hop, but hip hop is really the person.
Right.
So the whole premise of my story is like going back to when you fell in love with this person, and in the midst of the pandemic, having to go back to those times, like what did you fall in love with this person about, and going back and doing those things to fall in love all over again. Because we at home all day, every day in the house for months.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to ask you all, make sure you all share the video to your page, the Rocky's Reality live video, start a watch party, put some balloons, all of that. Thank you. So we have some people chiming in here. Thank you to our Facebook followers who are listening. Please, if you want to drop a comment or a question, please do so. So yeah, you're right. We had to get back to basics. Like I taught my kids how to play Uno. But
Yeah.
like we had to get back to, like, seriously, we had to get back to basics.
Yes.
For real. Like this really
like we really went out and bought Monopoly and Uno cards and watched movies with the kids, and yeah.
Games.
Y'all do that anyway?
Yeah.
Nikki,
We're gamers.
Okay.
That's what we do. We're very competitive.
Okay.
I mean, I think it's probably a problem though, technically, because we either have to be on the same team or just be both winners. Because otherwise, it's goodbye. It's going off.
It's just because we like to win.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
whatever we put our hands to, we win.
I love it.
Lord
You
Jesus.
got that attitude with marriage. So y'all got back to basics, Tanisha. So I want to say this one, prospering in the pandemic, had more of a positive theme, right?
Right. Well, you gotta talk to Ortavia.
I'm coming. I'm coming. I'm gonna be honest. I couldn't read everything, but I did browse through some of it, and some of KV's story and Tiffany's story and Celeste. I was reading some of your story and some of the loss you suffered.
Yeah.
As well. So well, let's go to Ortavia. All
right, come on.
What get a little
man, honey.
Come on. She ready.
She ready.
Look at how pretty with that blue though. I love it. By the way, Ortavia was in the original Marriage Uncut.
Yes, I was.
She's the original.
but it's a totally different story with a twist.
Totally different story, totally different person.
Okay, so Ortavia, tell us a little bit. Of course, again, we want people to buy the book.
Yes.
By the way, Tanisha, where can people buy the book? Let's right quick get that out the way. Where can they go? The book?
Yeah, so they can get the ebook on Amazon, but if they want physical copies, soitiswritten.net.
All right.
Yep.
Okay, so Ortavia, tell us a little piece of what you are addressing in your portion of Marriage Uncut Part 3.
I guess I'll address in reference to my husband when we were in the pandemic, and I would usually be upstairs in the office, or he'll be downstairs in the basement watching TV, and he had a young lady being in his DM, and and yeah, he had a young lady.
I mean, adjust my mic.
He had a young lady being in his DM, and so I thought that it was something that he didn't have no business doing, or she didn't have no business doing. But to make a long story short, I happened to get on the laptop that he was on, and he was still logged in to Facebook. So of course,
come to the light.
Of course, me being the wife, yes, I have permission. And if I didn't, I did that day. But I went ahead and clicked on there, and I started reading the messages. So they were kind of like, at first they were kind of like conflicting, and I'm like, okay.
Wait, Ortavia, did you know this chick? Was this someone?
No.
Oh, you know the story too, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, that's okay.
Yeah. So
so this a heifer y'all knew.
No. We didn't know him.
Oh, they didn't know him. Okay, so how does she know your husband? How does she know How did she reach out to him? She just saw him on Facebook and started reaching out.
She was reaching out to him. She started asking him questions. So when she was asking him questions, they were conversating. They started conversating. So when I was reading through the messages, I thought it was something totally different, but I'm just gonna, break it down for what it is. I thought it was something different, because I was reading the messages and she was, a young lady. She was like in her 20s. And I'm like, now why is he messing around with this baby? Why is she in his inbox like that? So I went all the way down to the beginning of the messages, and they were basically talking to each other and saying, she was asking him how was his mom. He was asking her what she was doing, what she cooked today, and so forth and so on. So I'm like, okay, now that don't sound just like a general conversation. That's going to lead to something else, because there are steps when it comes to cheating. That's what I was looking at. But to make a long story short, it all boils down to she had asked him, no, she had told him that she thought that he was her father.
Oh,
right. Rocky, look at
yeah.
Come on back.
Yeah, so come on back, Rocky.
I got my hoops on today. I was ready.
I know you were.
Girl, I was ready to,
I know you were. But that's how the story, how I presented the story. Because we are nosy. and we want to know, is he cheating, and why is she this and why is she that? But the whole point about it was the young lady, she was told that my husband was her father.
Okay. Wow.
And so I had asked my husband, was that possible? And he said he didn't think so. And I asked him, had he talked to her? I mean, did he have a relationship with her mom? And he said no, not necessarily had a relationship. They were booty buddies. And
I ain't never heard booty buddy ever in my life.
They were booty buddies. Yeah,
they were in an entanglement.
No, I wouldn't say entanglement. This was more so of a booty buddy, he said.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we've all had our whole faces. Okay, I understand.
Yeah. So
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's where that whole thing came from. Why she was in his DM, because her mom told her that he was her dad. Okay. And after so many years, it wasn't. He wasn't.
Okay.
He wasn't. Yeah. They did have a DNA test done.
Okay.
Yeah, they didn't. I wanted to put that into the book, but by the time they were able to,
we didn't know yet.
Yeah, we didn't know. We didn't know.
Reality is right here.
Yeah,
we didn't know yet.
We didn't know.
It unfolded. Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
He is not the father.
Yeah, he is not the father. He is
okay, he's not the father. Okay, now how long you and because Ortavia, you and your hubby have been married
5 years.
Okay. Okay, so you all don't have children together?
No.
Yeah, but do you have adult children?
Yeah, yes. We have adult children.
So he was not the father. Good, because I'm like, I'm not trying to pay nobody else. Well, she was now. I'm not trying to get nobody else. Okay. So okay, Ortavia. So I'm glad.
But you know what? I want to say this. If she did happen to be his daughter, I mean, technically she was there before me, before we got married, before I had even knew him, and he just didn't know. So we did sit down, we did talk about it, and we did agree if the test did come back that he was 99.9% her father, that we would accept her, we would take her in. Right. I wouldn't feel no different way, because she didn't know. He didn't know.
That would be the right thing to do.
Yeah. So, and that was basically the title of my story, Do the Right Thing.
Okay. Oh, love it. Okay. And it's only right. You're right. I was just joking.
No, you ain't.
Oh, Lord. Okay. So Prophet Ray says he has some questions.
Yeah. Okay. So And I think we talked about this before. Was there ever a time in the DMs or in the messages where she mentioned, "I'm reaching out because I think you are my father"?
No, no, mm-mm,
And so
no.
the messages were just vague messages, and then they talked on the phone.
Yeah,
We just randomly chatting though?
yeah.
Yeah.
So if we go back to the very beginning of
Yeah.
all the messages, it was like, hey,
Hey.
do you know this person? Do you know that person? Or it was, hey, what's going on?
Yeah, it was basically because my husband's niece and the young lady are friends. They know each other.
Okay, because I was wondering why would he entertain any conversation?
Yeah, he know,
Questions.
and so when
Right.
when she reached out to him and she was like, because his niece was the one that asked my husband, did you know this young lady and her name? And he was like, no. And he was like, well, she said she, know of you or whatever. And she was, I guess, gonna inbox him. And so that's how that came about. But he didn't, it wasn't like she just, picked up the phone and she was just in his inbox like, hey, how you doing? This, that, and the other. My husband, he knew because his niece had told him about this young lady. She, had some questions. She wanted to ask him some stuff. So, but then the niece, my husband's niece did say her mom's name. So my husband knew that, yeah, he did. They were booty buddies, but he didn't think that she was going to say something about, I'm your father.
Right.
There's a chance that you my father. I guess she was just probably wanting to ask, like, did you remember my mother or something like that?
I'm still giving this the side eye. But okay.
Yeah, I think the bother though is that it was all in the DM though. Like why? Why the DM?
Because his niece. Why didn't you get his phone number?
That's what I'm
from
saying.
the
I mean,
niece.
it's just. But
I don't know. Is this some mental health here? I don't know. So many questions. So many questions. The social worker.
Tell you, yeah.
Okay, but we ain't gonna stick on it, Ortavia, because we want people to read it.
Okay.
I think so. You all basically that's how you all prospered. You and your husband prospered through the pandemic. You all, all he almost had a baby from the booty buddy. But, okay.
It really it brought us closer together than than we were, but it opened up even more of a door for us to really sit and have our talk and revisit our vows, for better, for worse, sickness and health, just to not to put any labels on or thinking caps as the assuming and things like that, because he was trying to figure out a way to come and tell me, because he didn't tell me like right off when she told him. He didn't come and tell me that. And so that's why I was kind of like upset. I wasn't upset at the fact, once I found out when he said that she said that she could be his daughter. I was upset at the fact that it took him, several days to tell me when he had already knew this, because she had. So that's why I was, upset more so. Because I just felt like, okay, well, I'm your wife. You should be able to come to me and tell me anything. And then we have to figure out how we're going to get through this. You don't figure this out on your own and then wait and say, okay, well, this is that. You know what I'm saying? Because we are a team.
Wait a minute. Robin, how do I get Celeste to rejoin? Like she dropped off and then rejoined. Okay. You're right. And now when you say tell each other anything, I'm gonna come back to that point. I feel like sometimes husband and wives conversations, woo, be hard to navigate. I mean, sometimes we got to tread lightly with certain stuff.
Like, what do you mean? See, I just turned this whole thing around.
I mean, it's just okay. So for like when I want to say, for example, like my husband and I, when I've had issues with my girlfriends, coming to him and talking to him about it, he's not going to necessarily understand that because he's like, look, whatever. That's women stuff. He's not always going to be as compassionate or understanding that I need from a woman's perspective. Because he's like, that's not stuff that I'm concerned with. So, but I feel what you're saying, Ortega, when it's something major. I guess it just depends on the situation, because at times I just feel like my husband doesn't have the capacity, and I might not have the capacity to understand what he's trying to convey or understand the feelings he has behind it, because I'm stuck in what I'm thinking about it. Like when you're sometimes you got to consider the source or who you're trying to convey information to, because they might not perceive it in the way that you do, and cannot maybe always give you the feedback that you need. That's why I believe in like having a therapist. Ooh, why you look?
Because I feel like you should be able to talk about everything.
I
don't think it's so
What?
much about the capacity of your understanding or even the actual ability to understand it, but I should have the ability to talk to you about any and everything. That way it is not, when you find out something, we all out, and then my homegirl like, yeah, whatchamacallit took your wife money and ran off with it, and now you're sitting there upset because you didn't tell me that this girl who dead or something took the money, ran off, and now you feel betrayed because you didn't know that. I'm a firm believer that I don't like being sidetracked. I want to know it from you and not from anybody else, because that's not safe. But that's how I feel.
Yeah. So. No, I mean, certain topics, absolutely, we should be discussing. If it's something our finances, if it's someone who's going to interrupt our family dynamic, absolutely. But I just feel like at times men and women think differently.
We do.
And for me, it's easier for me to talk to someone who's objective.
Yeah.
Because of course, as my husband, he's going to have a subjective view.
But I'm saying you should be able to just dump it though, and not necessarily worry about what he's gonna say. I'm just telling you, I don't need your advice because you don't already talk to
and see right? that, but see that's the Mars versus Venus, because hubby ain't like that all the time. He feel like if you telling me you want me to help you fix it. That's him. That's why I sometimes have had to tell him, like, I don't want you to fix it.
There we go.
I don't want you to give me your opinion. I just want you to listen. But of course he feels like, I gotta tell you. I got it. So did Tanisha drop off? Okay. We got Boys and Steady Love, and we'll be right back. Yeah. Because we both are strong personalities. And he feel like, if you telling me something, then you want me to do something about it. And I'm like, no, I don't want you to do nothing about it. So or like when I've had issues with my girlfriends, I can't. But sometimes the fixing that y'all think should be the fixing is not what we need sometimes.
No, I agree.
But that's what I'm saying, right? It goes both ways. Like, so I'll go to him and say, she did X, Y, and Z. So he's like, okay, so what do you want me to do about it? No, I really just want to tell you.
Okay. But he's not. And sometimes he hasn't been sympathetic. Like if I'm going through issues with my girlfriends, he's like, okay, that's petty stuff. And I'm like, well, this is something that's really bothering me.
No,
so I'm not gonna get that compassion from him about it, because he's like, that's silly stuff. That's and me, my feelings be hurt, because I'm like, well, look, like you said, I should be able to tell you this without.
Practice. It's practice. That means you're going to have to practice with him, reminding him, I don't need you to fix this. I just need to tell you. And he's going to have to practice going, okay.
Like you said, practice.
It's practice. And I think we both be holding our hands like, you sure you don't want me to jump in?
Right. Because most of the time, I'll be like, that's stupid. Why do you even waste your time dealing with these stupid people?
Yeah.
And
it's not people.
Yeah, those are people. So I sit there and listen.
Yeah.
Or I walk out the room.
And see, my girlfriends and I have had some issues, and he's like, quit dealing with them. He's more of a person who cuts people off. Like, me, I want to try to work it out. I want to try to discuss it. Let's try to reconcile. He's like, no. I
think we both have a healthy cutoff game, so I don't think that's.
And see, he's the only child. I'm the youngest child, so we have those, those family dynamics.
Oh, y'all both only child?
No, he's the only child, and I'm the youngest.
Oh God!
So our family dynamics, and see, his family was not a close family like that. Like, but my family gets together, we hug each other, kiss each other. Every holiday we get together. His family, they're larger than us, but they only get together if it's a wedding or a funeral,
right?
Or a birthday. But if it's a birthday, it's still just a limited amount of people. So we've had to really learn how to, at times, if when we're trying to mesh our backgrounds, recognizing that
sometimes it
ain't gonna, if he's probably not in the mood, I can't force it on him.
You're right.
Yeah.
Because there are times when she be going out with her family, she's like, "Oh, you want to?" No, I don't want to go.
Exactly.
And at first, she was upset. But at the end of the day, I don't want to go. I mean,
so that's what I meant, like, tell
but-
him everything, because certain stuff I know you're just gonna be flippant about it, because to you, that's not a big deal. To me, it is though. And I mean, I've done that with stuff with him as well. I don't see it as a big deal. So that's why I say when you say tell them everything, it's like you got to be prepared for at times that they're not gonna give you the response you're looking for.
Your expectation. This is why we have to educate each other. Because if my expectation is that she's going to do this and she doesn't do that, I'm going to constantly be injured. Well, if I can let her know, listen, I actually want you to do this. I want you to respond like this. Sometimes she'll say something or I'll say something and we'll respond. Okay, so how do you want me to respond?
And that's exactly what I've asked him. Like, what is it you're looking for me to say?
Right.
Here.
And so I can't get mad because you're trying to give me what I want. So
right, like what is it you're looking for me to say? Right.
So you want support, you want me to listen, or you want to, want me to put my hair up too? We can go and fight.
Right. Y'all hear, we coming to you next, Celeste.
Come on.
We from the east side.
Right. I love it. I love it. Okay, so we were kind of a summary of what we were talking about. I was explaining what I meant by telling your spouse everything. Sometimes you're not going to get the response that you feel should happen from your spouse. So that's why I said sometimes I have to. But I end up telling him anyway, though. That's the thing, because he is one of my best friends. Yeah. So I'm going to tell him. But it's certain things that happen because similar to Ortavia's situation, but even though your situation was not inappropriate, I've known some of his friends have done some inappropriate things. Okay. And I'm like, I can't tell him that because that's going to cause some confusion. So, I'll tell you later. I'll give it to you later. That's what I said. When she said DM, I said, because that has been an issue. And actually my friend of mine who just divorced, she said already the married men are just popping into her DM. Just popping into.
Care about marriage.
Yeah, they don't. People don't. So
yeah, they don't.
Some people don't. We do.
Well, I was gonna say. I mean,
people don't respect it. Well, society doesn't respect it.
But
absolutely,
we require less normally, so they, it's less time.
Right, the responsibility isn't there. All we're trying to do is bust.
Yeah, we're in a microwave society.
What they call it, booty buddy.
Right.
Booty buddies.
Right.
Booty buddies.
We ain't got to hold each other. We ain't got to make sure you emotionally set. You get excited, I get excited. We done, go home.
Yep. I don't have to be there when you sick at 3 a.m. I mean, for real.
That's true.
Right. I'm just saying. Because, I mean.
Back up when you want to give up.
Okay. Who going to be there?
Right.
At 3, 4 in the morning. Or picking you up.
Not the booty.
Not exactly. Okay. So
I mean, they may be there at 3, 4 in the morning to pick
for the
you
booty
up.
for the booty call.
Yeah.
For the booty
Right.
call. Because we're booty buddies.
Right. Love it. Okay, so let's shout out again to Tanisha for I meant to ask her how did she choose the authors, but we'll come back to that. I know she had to hop off. So welcome back, everyone. Again, so Celeste.
Yes.
I'm reading some of your story. And I saw the part about, can I mention about your pregnancies?
Oh, yes.
Okay. I'm like, can we go there?
You sure can. I'm just like you, TMI.
I love it. Unfiltered and unapologetic. I love it. People be like, I'll be having to gauge and like, okay. All right. So Celeste, well, kind of give us a snapshot of what you're talking about. And again, prospering in a pandemic. So it's obviously talking about how you all have overcome some trials, and now we triumphing. And I was telling Tanisha, like, this is awesome because actually, I have to say, it has improved my husband me and my husband's relationship
Mhm.
because of the time spent at home and having conversations and arguments too,
Absolutely.
and just working through stuff. So for you, Celeste, how long have you been married?
Well, I've been married 24 years.
Oh wow,
Wow.
you're in the game.
Yay.
Hey,
All right.
the game. Okay.
Yes, I've been married 24 years. June made 24 years.
Wow.
Yeah. Yes. And so my story in Marriage Uncut 3, it was called Love and Basketball. And the reason I named it because marriage is really a dribble. You know, sometimes you have your ups, sometimes you have your downs. And during the pandemic, for me, even though it was so much going on in the world, so many hurtful things going on in the world, for my marriage, I believe that it saved it, you know, because I didn't realize that I had been so busy
Mm-hmm.
in the process of trying to build business and, meetings and all these other things. And I forgot what was important, which was not really forgot, but I guess I should say I got so busy to the point where it was just like, whoa, what happened to him?
Yeah.
So when the pandemic came and I was forced to stop, it gave me an opportunity to look at things from a big perspective.
Mhm.
And I had to go back to what I already knew, which was God, my family, and then everything else.
Mm-hmm.
And I was operating in total opposite.
Mm-hmm.
And so during the pandemic, it really brought some perspectives to me personally because I was just moving. And it was days where he'll be walking in, I'll be walking out, kiss on the cheek. I'm gone, you gone, come back. He showered, ate in the bed, and sometimes I didn't even cook dinner. And so, but that's just where sometimes I didn't, because he ate, but it was, a home cooked meal. So, so that's what my story in the book is about, just redefining what's important, and utilizing those things because things have become so hectic for me. And that's when I realized, you know what? You out of order. Completely out of order.
Is that part of what happened with the pregnancies that you lost? Was that probably part of because you were running so much?
In the midst of me running, I didn't even be still long enough to take in all of that. I was just moving, going. Okay, I lost one. I had an ectopic pregnancy surgery, healed, bam, back at it. Wow. And I had 3 ectopic pregnancies in 10 months.
Oh wow!
Wow!
And with that, I had 2 major surgeries. The last surgery I had, I almost passed away.
Wow!
And so, the pandemic really did a lot, for me personally and my marriage.
Oh my God!
Wow!
Love and Basketball. By the way, I'm loving how each chapter is named after a movie. Yes, I love that. Was that Tanisha's idea? Yeah. I love it. So you know what? You made a good point, Celeste, because for me, this pandemic has actually been a blessing in a lot of ways. It's been a curse. It's been a blessing. It's been a lot of things that bad have happened, but there have been a lot of blessings. Mm-hmm. Like I had a friend die on my birthday. My grandma died. But then also we were able to purchase 2 new cars this year. Mm-hmm. And my daughter is doing well. I had like a skin issue going on that's healed up. And I was at the point where I wasn't even dreaming when I was going to sleep because like you, Celeste, I was running. Wow. And I'm kind of in slow motion still now that the world is kind of back open.
Me too.
It taught me too, you know what, things will be all right if this does not get done today.
Yes.
Tell people,
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Nope.
Yep.
And it's okay to sit down and
yeah.
I was raised by a single mother, so I'm used to going to working. And especially as a Black woman, a Black man, Black people, we know we got to work extra hard than everybody else. And we have to go. And that's part of the problem. And I do believe that the pandemic was the world, the universe, God's way of saying, y'all need to sit down somewhere.
Yeah, I do too.
And just like, just Rocky, just like you, I was raised by a single mom. My father wasn't around, but my mother was single. And so I watched her. And so I really have a lot of her characteristics about just making it happen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You got to do what you got to do. Now that could be a good thing, and it could also be a bad thing, but the independence is just there, and so I just always, I was just going. And it really, I didn't even realize how exhausted I was until I stopped.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was me, because I didn't realize that I was not dreaming.
Yeah.
And that tripped me out. I mean, I would dream but not remember them. I was telling my husband, like, I'm remembering my dreams now because I'm able to sleep and not have to rush and get up and get kids ready and only get 3-4 hours of sleep because I'm a night owl too. So that was part of the issue. But yeah. So okay. So let me switch back to Prophet Ray and Nakia. Whoop whoop. Because y'all, part of y'all book was y'all chapters were talking about. Now your chapters is which one are y'all's again? Is it Mr. and Mrs. Smith? Mrs. Smith. Which what, that's a trip, because somebody asked me if my marriage was a movie, what would it be? And I said Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Because we love each other, but we be fighting too. Like, we love as hard as we fight. So that is funny that y'all, that's my hubby and I. Like, we both have strong personalities. It's like, sometimes you got to be the one to be like, look, let me back on down.
Right.
Okay, let me let you get this one. So you all's chapters were kind of talking about how busy you all are. And it's okay. So give us a.
Was it busy? Well, so I mean, the pandemic for us was super extreme, just because I think we both talk about how we literally have 2 houses. So I would stay at one house, 4 days, one house 3 days, and so it worked. So that meant, like, if I was mad, I would just choose to stay at the other house instead of the 3 days. I would just stay.
Y'all own 2 homes?
Yes.
Okay.
So,
and we have people in there. We have children in there.
Okay.
Yeah. So our kids are there, so it's easy to just go to the other place and be like, "Hey, mama's home, dad's home, whatever." And so, like, prior to the pandemic, like, I would go a month and be like, I'm going to the other house. Don't talk to me. I ain't talking to you. When I come to church, to act like you don't know who I am, because I'm gonna act like I don't know who you are. But the
wait a minute, at church I would be acting like that?
Right.
Hallelujah. Amen.
Wow.
During worship,
y'all said we are an open book, right?
Okay,
so,
no. Yeah, I'm just being clear.
And transparent. So we don't do the pretend, right?
Right.
I love God. He loves God. We can worship. But I'm not talking to you. We ain't talking.
No,
I love it.
That's real life. There are times
I love
where we would literally walk into service. Service starts at 10:30, and I'm a stickler for service starting on time. So service starts at 10:30, and she would walk in on purpose, mind you, by about 10:40. On purpose. I know she did it on purpose.
This is the church you all are the head of?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay.
And so I'm there. Yes. There's a spirit on her about like, she's trying to make a point. And I knew that but I didn't budge. So we're both very starched like that. But we understood, look, the only way that I'm going to get free anyway is by spending some time with God. So we would still worship. We would still praise. I still had to get up and preach. So I would get up and preach. We would prophesy, minister to people, do deliverance, and walk out. I would walk to my office. She would walk to her office. She would get in her cards, and I would put in mine, and I would go home.
But see, I got the luxury of 2 homes. A lot of people don't have that luxury.
Yeah.
This is during the pandemic.
So the pandemic changed that.
Okay.
And I think that's why the pandemic, it would be prospering in the pandemic, because at first, when we went on lockdown, we were together, and so we had to stay together every single day, and so we had not done that. So I got to deal with.
For how long before then?
We had never. Like
we worked full-time jobs.
So I would be at one house maybe 2 or 3 days.
So for the 3 years y'all been married, y'all had never lived together?
I'm saying we didn't live together every single day. So we have 2 houses. So 4 days a week we're at this house.
Okay.
3 days I go to the other house.
And We're both working full-time jobs. She's working in Ann Arbor. I'm working in the city downtown.
Okay.
So the time we would normally spend together at either house would only be like 3 hours, and then we sleep.
Okay.
So, and actually I put that in the story, like this amount of time for sleep. And then
I saw that. This is how the day goes. Right.
And then we got ministry. So our personal time at any house would have been about 3 hours. Yeah. Now we're literally locked down with each other, working from home, doing ministry from home, 24 hours in the entirely day.
Her face is like, geez,
listen, it was a struggle.
Wow.
It was like,
wow.
But is that what we're talking about right now today? But it just was different. But I think that it caused us to, like, I think his title was reintroduce ourselves. We had to learn who the other person was, what they needed, our love languages, our communication, why we had some of the issues that we had. And I think without the pandemic, we would not have been forced to do that. But because we were in a pandemic and we were together every day, the one thing we understood was that I love you. Like, I mean, I don't want to do life without you, but I just don't like you right now.
Yeah. Yes. That's I joke and say I like my husband this week, or I don't like him this week, and that'd be real. You love him, but you don't like him. That'd be real, right? Or take
that's true. Yeah. That's true. We get in those moments.
He said that in the book. He said he ain't like me. He didn't want to see me face.
Oh, you feel some type of way about that? That he said that?
No, we have always been the type of couple and friends that we should be able to fight and love. Growing up in ministry and doing ministry, my spiritual parents taught me, forgive quick, repent quick. And so for some people, it may seem as if, we get into an argument and then my first comment after our yelling and fighting, we can throw stuff. And then my first thing is what?
You want to go get something to eat?
Right. We'll watch a show or something.
Yeah. I'm like, absolutely not.
I'm not.
You still mad?
Yeah.
You still in your feelings.
And so now I'm about to get mad because I know we still gotta eat.
And we gonna be hungry. Black women, we be hungry.
So you just not hungry. But
she like, I don't care. I
would rather starve than eat food with you. I will go to bed starving.
But it may look as if I'm being dismissive, but what it is me making sure that my heart is still right. So I repent quick, I forgive quick. You mad? I'm mad. That's fine. Let's get
it. But I still love you. Yeah.
Yes. Because in the great scheme of things and in the great picture of the world, tomorrow you could be dead.
Exactly. That's the ebb and flow.
And so I'm gonna be mad because, or you're gonna be mad because my socks keep getting put at the edge of the bed. Ooh. I mean, you can't be, but that's your anger. You hold on to that. I'm gonna be happy. Like, here, hand me the remote.
That's true though. But I guess there's a difference in the personalities though too, because I'm kind of like that. Like I will cuss you out, and then I'm like, I'm moving on. Let's next. I love you though, but I just had to let you know.
Right.
That's how I was feeling.
I always say you can tell a person how you feel out of love.
Right. But you said what, Nikki?
I said the pandemic, I think, helped us with that too, though. That's why I said, even like as it relates to communication, understanding that you do need to forgive quick. Like me holding on to it means I'm knitting it in my heart, which means now it's going to be a problem. It's going to be something that comes up later. So let's let it go.
And you'll never be able to do anything right.
Right.
And then how do we let go? Because certain things be hard to let go. I mean,
but that's what I'm saying.
Wait a minute now. Your socks at the end of the bed is one thing, Prophet Ray, but or you messing up some money, that's another issue.
No, but I really literally believe that you have to let it go, like from the very beginning. And I think that even in friendships, because otherwise I do need it in my heart. And that means I'm not going to forget. So that means that I either got to guard myself from you or always watch you. And I don't want to live life like that. Yeah. I don't want to live in bondage of what you did and it might come back. So literally let it go. Like literally, that's how we do. Like, okay, I forgive you. I mean, we literally had a conversation like, so this is how we're going to deal with this. Yeah. Okay, we good. And that means it's done though. It's not something we're going to go back to because guess what? That keeps us in bondage. So if I'm going to hold, first the Bible says love keeps no record of wrong. So if I'm going to hold you to that, is this really love then? Yeah. Because I keep going back to what you did 3 months ago, 6 months ago, a year ago. Child, and now we're in bondage.
Child, work to do. I got work to do.
But it is practice.
Because certain stuff I let go. Other stuff I'm like, if I feel like I have been disrespected and not disvalued,
then what do you do?
I'm mad about it
and
for
you
a
hold
while.
on to it.
Certain stuff, yes.
And then
certain
at some
stuff.
point,
but yeah, you're right. You have it's that struggle. It's a conscious decision.
that's what it is.
It's
Because
a conscious decision to let it go.
At some point, after the next 3 months, you be like, you know what? I don't even know why I'm mad about that. You let it go. But just as easy as it was during the first injury, as it is 3 months later, it really is that we have been told that it's difficult.
Yeah.
But you really can be like, you know what? Let me let this go. And just like that, you fast forwarded yourself. One of the things I started saying is, can we skip to the end of this? Let's just skip to the end. Because, and I know it's frustrating.
Wait, look at this breath. Celeste and Ortavia, did y'all see this breath that Nakia took? She took a breath like this. Wait a minute.
But at the end of the day, if we don't take control of it now, we're both going to live in bondage
for the rest of your life.
And nobody's going to be able to do anything right. I can go shopping. I ain't got. She hates this. She makes 3 times more than I do.
Satan, see,
and
you
so
don't keep going.
when I go out and I buy specific stuff, I think it's a big deal because you make more money than I do. So for me to spend money is huge for me. And so she'd be like, "Oh, thank you." Ooh. So for me, though, that's me being
another.
That's me. And so after that,
finance
nothing.
Another.
Oh yeah, but then there's nothing you can do right. So after that, she can do whatever. Okay, all right. Until I decide, you know what, it really wasn't that big a deal. And I just let it go. We have that choice. Sometimes we just choose not to do it because we want to vilify the other person and feel justified in our feelings and say that our
I want you to feel some remorse.
Yes.
I want you to feel bad that you did it. I want you to, sometimes I want you to.
But how is that determined? I can't always tell you, I can't always express to you how bad I feel about what I've done because you're so upset. It doesn't matter how bad I feel.
You're right. Where am I? Is Ben, did he text you? Ben, I swear we done had this same conversation.
At some point, we just gotta let you.
Okay, do you remember what you was gonna say, Nakia?
About that whole side? It's just at the wrong time that the statement is made. It's not about the statement itself because I agree. Like, so I would appreciate more. So how do we get over this? Or, so what's next versus can we just skip to the end? No, we cannot.
That's what I said. Mars and Venus.
Right.
Women, we want to dissect it. We want to discuss it. We want to talk how we can address this next time, how we can prevent it. What can we do to be proactive about it? Nope.
So I'm not too far from that. I'm a social worker, so that's part of who we are. But at the end of the day, I still want to fix it. So let's fix it. Okay, that's what we're gonna do. You mad? I'm mad. Okay, I'm not mad no more. So you don't need to be mad. There's no point of being mad.
No, but as a woman, I'm a processor though. So normally, and where a lot of the tension came is that I think more so like, let me make sure that I only accredit to him what is his, right? I don't want to give him what's my daddy's, what's my ex-husband's, what's somebody else. So let me figure out what I really feel as it pertains to what he's done in this situation. And he'd be like, you over it, get over it.
No, and that's the thing. You can't always determine when the other person's gonna be over it just because you over it either. Now that's something I've had.
Yeah.
So let me bring in Ortavia and Celeste. Because yes, ultimately, yes, we have to let it go. But again, everyone internalizes or experiences the hurt differently.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Ortavia and Celeste, chime in. Do you all have similar issues?
Yes, I do. So for me, I'm more so like she said, I go back and analyze it. And so my thing is, let's talk about what the real issue is. So that way we can move forward. We won't have to revisit. But my husband, he internalized everything. And so even for me being, like you were saying earlier, I'm more forgiving, quick and all that. And I go to him, people like, how did you forgive them? Why did they do that? Da, 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 da. And my thing is, babe, it's really not that serious. And then once I go back and analyze that it was I always go back to me. What could I have done different? What decision could I have made in this situation? What could I have said different? Did I do everything right? And if it comes back to me as a no, then guess what? I can't really stay mad at them more than I'm mad at myself because I got to take responsibility for my role in it. If it's with him or other people. And so for but he internalize things, and that.
And men are not as verbal as us either.
No, and I want to talk about it. I want to.
But even some women are not verbal, but some women are not, because I don't want to generalize it. Because
you know what? Another thing too is
I can tell Prophet Ray.
Well, I mean,
when we internalize things, eventually those things is going to show up.
Yeah.
It could be 5 years, 10 years. I mean, it's really not worth doing, because you may not see it daily or feel it daily, but in the long run, it's going to show up again. Yeah. So it's easier to just let it go.
Yeah. And then they be bringing it up like, you be like, wait a minute now.
You don't forget all about it.
Remember that I asked you to go get some milk from the store, but you can remember what I did October of 2015.
Right.
When we went to I'm like, but I done forgot all about that. But he don't remember it. What about you, Ortavia?
I'm more so the internalizer. I analyze too. I mean, my husband, he's pretty much more so like kind of like laid back. He's very patient, you know what I'm saying? He's not argumentative, none of that, you know what I'm saying? And I think for me, our relationship, because we both can't be the same. I mean, because both of us being the same it just don't, well, for me, for our relationship, he can't be like me and I can't be like him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, I mean, we gotta find balance somewhere, you know, where he's very patient. Me, I'm like, microwave, gotta get it done, gotta do this, gotta do that. But, you know, he's so laid back. You know what I'm saying? Now he'll discuss, you know, well, what's that, this, that, and the other. You know, he'll listen. Even when we were talking about, far as saying something about, you know, the girlfriend talking about this, and I'll say, well, honey, you know, such. He will, babe, you know, you can't be no counselor to everybody, you know, this, that, and the other. I mean, his just kind of like short, sweet, to the point, unless it's really, really something like he really gotta, you know, well, babe, you know what, this is what I think, you know. But other than that, it's more so me analyzing everything. He's kind of like laid back, and I love it.
And you know, analyze as well.
You said what, Celeste?
I said, and then sometimes we can overanalyze.
That's
a whole another story.
Yeah. Oh God.
Add it to the stuff that
you know, I done formulated a whole anthology in my mind about this.
Yeah.
Because I'm a storyteller, so I done already. So I want to go back to you were right. I'm glad you said something as far as, yes, it's not always that men don't talk, because some do.
Yeah.
And you got to figure out how to get yours to talk.
Yeah.
To you.
Yeah. You can use a lot of generalities in conversation where all men, all women, most men, most women. When the truth is I'm not a man, so I can't really speak to, you know, if men really talk, or I can speak about my man. I can tell you what my now husband or ex-husband did, but I can't tell you about what most or all do, because I don't have a relationship with all of them. But that's just because we were on a different relationship conversation last night, where it was like everybody was saying men, women. It's like, y'all ain't girls, y'all don't know what we feel.
Right. Oh God. Hubby and I had that conversation too about being a black woman, and
they say you're always angry, you got daddy issues, you know.
Sometimes, but it ain't just black women. That's people, period. You got mama issues. How about that? And how about you have daddy issues?
Yeah, but I'm saying that part. But I'm saying it's a people thing. I just don't. It's not a black girl thing. It is a people thing. Girls who have not had fathers have issues, but it don't matter the color. You could be Mexican.
Exactly.
But our issue is that we hear what y'all saying, but when it's reciprocated, the response is not the same. So we're supposed to be able to let you be you. You don't have to. Every black woman's not angry. Every black woman, but every black man is not this. Every black man is not that too. Every black man ain't your daddy. Every black man ain't the person who molested or violated you. And so when a lot of times we have to be able to give the same grace that we want to our spouse, that we want to get from them. So if I want you to be clean, then
you all up in my business. You all up in my business. Laughing too, right? He is in our business, ain't he? For real.
Listen, let
I
me
need you
tell
to prophesy over me tonight, Ted. Prophesy over me.
Something I wrote down
Lord.
is I'm doing a book now on spirit healing. And one of the things that we just mentioned was, she said, y'all both were talking about how sometimes men are verbal, men are nonverbal, da 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 da. And I said, well, sometimes I'll just go real spiritual because that's my hiding place. And I'm going to make sure I put that in the book because a lot of times we go right to our hiding place in our relationships, that place that makes us feel safe. I can stay spiritual all the live long day because I'm safe there. So when people talking about, oh, the president and whatever, listen, that's my safe place. So when we get into arguments, I'm like, well, the Bible says that this is what we're supposed to do, and we need to protect.
Does that get on your nerves, Nakia?
It don't get on my nerves. I think
you get the quote in that scripture.
No, I think he ends up getting frustrated because then he'd be like, you listen to the prophet and the pastor, but not your husband. Well, stop giving me y'all scripture, pastor. Ooh.
But then what it also does for me is it reminds me, okay, so you have to hear what you're saying. So you giving out all of this great advice and you telling her what she needs to do. And what a lot of people don't understand, especially about ministers and preachers, if we are preaching, don't think that we're being hypocritical because we're preaching on something that we're going through. I'm preaching my way through this thing. And so as I'm saying it, I'm hearing it and I'm like, holy crap, there's conviction coming to me and I need to fix this.
Right.
And a lot of times though, people be like, oh, you so vague. You was just doing this and you
No, you know what? I think no, because I have a similar thing. Well, when I'm speaking about something, when I post something or I'm speaking about something, people are like, oh my God, that's so inspirational. And I'm like, really, I'm talking to myself.
Absolutely.
I'm talking to myself too. You know, I think we forget that you got to look at the message and not the messenger. Absolutely. And I think that's a big issue that has separated people in the church. Sometimes they hold the leaders to a certain esteem, and it's like they people just like us. Now there are some scantless people out there, but that's what I want to ask you all. Like, how do people challenge you? Because they had to know that y'all were fighting like that. Like, how do they?
I mean, mom and dad would know, but I don't think that the people knew. Like, we were.
They knew something was up.
I mean, because you were saying y'all didn't even speak. I'm talking about I'm going to that part when y'all were
but I'm saying,
but when we hit church, we like
go into business,
in business mode.
Okay.
So normally it's not like we fraternize together. Once we go in, like we literally can walk in together. He goes to his office, I go to my office. Okay. We do our prep, we go out, have service, we then after service,
So there had to be some type of disconnect there. I'm sorry, when that energy,
it is absolutely.
It had to be. People had to sense some type of.
They do, and because when she's upset, then all of these other girls and all of these other people that are connected become upset and disenfranchised.
The armor bearers,
yes, with service and everything else, and for whatever reason, they always assume that it's me, and so they may not say anything. But I'm not stupid. Like you said, I can sense this, I can feel that, and I'm not prophetic for nothing. I know you mad because you think I done did something to your girl, and you think you want to come and check me. But just even though we are still human, there are still people that God has set up in charge. So just like you wouldn't go to your boss and be like, well, I didn't like the way that you talked to my coworker. Right. You can try that if you want to, and that won't be your coworker anymore. You can go on home. Right. People there, hear me what I'm telling y'all. Because God has given us people that we can be accountable to. My mom and my daddy are still members of the church.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So they retired and gave us the church, but they're still members. So, and then we have spiritual parents. I don't even talk to my mama and my daddy about everything that happens with us because they are members.
Right.
Now, when there are things that we feel like we need to talk about to our parents, then fine. But we have spiritual parents that we can go to about the ministry, about us, that'll keep us in check. We was in that office yelling and arguing, and my spiritual mother said, "Why are you so mad?" And I was like, "Because she said, why are you so mad? Can you just say that?" I was like, "Because I'm mad." And then she was like, "Can you just choose not to be?" And I said,
Rocky.
What? Like what?
I'm just laughing at you because Purple Rain's talking and you just like,
She's writing the story, ain't she?
right. She just, you didn't drew her
She
in and
told
she
us
just,
she was a storyteller. She done added some little things and
Right,
right. She is like, oh,
I am reliving.
Mhm.
I mean,
yeah,
been there,
yeah.
been there.
But
Where
right
you be
then,
so like just incensed, and you can't.
yes.
You just insist because hubby and I just came back from Cancun.
yeah.
Let me tell y'all, yes, it was wonderful, but we got into a horrible fight the first day we were there.
Mhm.
Okay,
Mm.
the very first night we
It
were
was
there.
Cancun.
Yeah, and right, we had to get it back together.
That's it.
But it was just like, this is ridiculous.
Mhm.
After a while, I was like, okay, why really are we mad?
Yeah.
And if we had, and my husband said later, he's like, that was none but the devil.
So
That
at
was
what
none but
point did
the
you?
devil.
At what point did you choose to stop being angry about it? Mhm.
Day four.
When he started talking about, well, yeah, let's just go back home and start the divorce.
Is that my screen?
Oh, you got over real quick.
Right. I mean, well,
Y'all was
Let's-
fighting.
yeah.
Is this still on day one?
Because yes, this was day one that
Okay.
night. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, by that later on that night we were fine. But it was a combination of we had been traveling all day, we were tired, hadn't had enough sleep,
Mhm.
hungry. It was we were stressed from traveling from home.
Mhm.
And it was just a combination, and our egos too. A lot of times
Right.
times it's an ego thing with my husband and I.
Mm.
And he was upset about losing something, and I'm like, come on, let's just get over it. But of course, he was still stuck on that, and I'm like, you ruining my mood, and I'm trying to be patient, and then I didn't want my patience and went off on him, and now he going off on me.
Right.
And then we walking up the street screaming at each other. And I'm like, we can't get arrested in no
Not in
foreign
Cancun.
country.
Right.
I'm like, let's get it. So then when after about an hour or so, and Lord knows we got our exercise in that night because we walking. Because I'm so mad. He like, come on, let's go back to the hotel. And I'm like, nope, I'm walking. And he like, I am not about to let you walk in a foreign country. I'm like, I don't care. I'm from the east side. They can bring it up the street. Just mad.
Wow.
He circling,
Rocky does.
he's circling back around with the cab. He like, get in the cab. So then he gets out and he walks with me. And then I slow down because I'm like, I don't want you walking with me. So he walks ahead of me. And every time he slows down, I'm slowing down too. Because I'm like, I don't care. I want you to be worried about me.
You being petty. You being petty now.
I was being a baby. I was being a baby.
Yes.
And I just had to realize, like, I don't want to do life without him.
Mhm.
I don't want to do life without him.
And the second you decided to figure that out, y'all started having a better time.
Right.
Able to,
Right.
Do you realize?
I mean, I had to, eat a little crow for a little while, and kiss
Yeah.
his booty for a little bit, and be nice. I'm sorry, I had to, go through all of that for a little while.
So do you
you know.
realize the control you actually had and have by choosing to either stay mad or to let it go? Because you could have allowed that whole trip to be horrible.
Oh, hell no, I wasn't. All the money we paid.
Right.
I know that's right.
That was the reality too. Like, when are we going to be back in Cancun?
Mhm.
Right.
We travel, we have been blessed actually to travel several times this year, for different
Mhm.
things.
Mhm.
But a trip by ourselves, and it was mainly with family, we were traveling, but a trip by ourselves where we could be there for several days. I was not about to let that experience go because I'm like, we have memories to make here.
Right.
We have memories to make here. And we still have some other snafus where we
Of
lost, his phone was damaged, we lost the hotel key and all of that. But I'm like, okay, we still had a wonderful time.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
at times, like you said, you be arguing, it's like, what? I'm tired now.
Mhm.
I'm like, I'm going out now. I'm tired.
Mhm.
I'm ready to go
Mhm.
sleep. I'm ready to make love. I'm
And it's
tired.
a conscious decision then to say, you know what, I'm over this. Can we just not be mad no more? Because this
Right.
is exhausting.
And I mean, he had a stroke back in 2014.
Mhm.
So I really have to be mindful now, like, what would life be like if he died? Like,
Yeah,
what
right.
would life be like if he wasn't here?
Mhm.
If we
Mhm.
were divorced? If we, like I don't want to do life without him.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
yeah, humbling myself and just swallow my pride and my ego
Mhm.
sometimes. Cause like, what are you trying to be right about?
Right. We're on
What
the
is
same team.
what is really? So yeah, I had to, but that's just a reality of marriage. It's that ebb and flow. And like you said, you have to decide
That's
certain
that dream.
things, though.
Mhm.
Well,
She had to convince me of that. We were going at it one day, and I think we went to see Dr. Cheryl Episcopal, that's her spiritual mother, and Bishop. But we were saying something, and then it just, for whatever reason, it never dawned on me that we are on the same team.
We just have different methods of winning.
Right. And even
like different, yeah. Because it's like a lot of times my hubby and I,
team.
we're saying the same thing, but we just approaching it differently.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
We saying the same. A lot of times, y'all have the same issues.
We say love to be right all the time, so
in a different way.
And one jumps right in the way and
Yes.
says, "No, you need to listen to me," but y'all saying the same thing.
You're right.
It's
Same thing, just saying it a different way.
Headed the same way, trying to accomplish the same thing. For somebody to take down, it's fine. We still gonna be married.
Yeah. Because even in that moment, we was mad. We were mad at each other, but he still was like, "I am not about to leave you out here by yourself, even though I'm mad at you." Because he was like, "If something happens to you, that'll be on me."
Well, one of the things I think that we have done well, though, and this is why we kept going to church even mad, is I'm accountable for it. It's my responsibility. I'm going to do my job regardless, Matt. We were in Atlanta and we had a big fight. He sat at one end, we were with a group of people. He sat at the far end of the table. I sat all the way over here. Give him my bill.
And I was like, "Did you grab my food?"
Listen.
Because we was in a restaurant and I had walked out the restaurant. And I was like, "Did you grab my food?"
And he had it.
No, he didn't.
He left your food?
Yes, he did. But guess what? He said, "Well, you can have my food. You can have some." He was
that was good.
That's the only thing we don't agree on. He don't share. He don't share food. He don't share food. You don't on fries? You don't have fries? You can't have none of my fries. To the point
you can't
where
be like that. We can share. You can have some of our food too.
No,
Wow.
Our church mother, to the point where she will give me whatever it is that we got to share. Like, she'll make us food. She'll give him his container. She'll give me my container. And she'll say, "These are the crackers that I need y'all to share together. So I gave them to you."
You share? Why? Okay. That'd be enough thing.
I am a middle child.
Okay. Look,
Wow.
I don't like to really share my food either. That's a God. Because
I need to tell you the truth. But you know, I just feel like I gotta share everything else with you. Can I just please have my food?
That's my point.
No. I share.
He can have anything I got. My food, anything.
I share.
All of you, that you guys become
pray
better
for my
sharers.
selfish spirit.
Yeah,
I gotta admit,
I'm
that is, and this is the thing about marriage. It helps you to own your shit.
It does.
It helps you, and I have to admit, it reflects who you are, the best parts of you and the worst parts.
Yes.
And I know
Yes, absolutely.
I am. But I'm with Celeste. I share everything else with y'all. Like with the kids, do y'all have to have everything that I get? It's that they don't even like to eat, but they want to eat it.
Just want some.
I will have to literally buy something and eat it in my car so I can have peace.
What
I don't want to share with y'all.
Oh, so our son made some homemade biscuits. Now, mind you, he brought me a whole biscuit. So I'm about to cut my biscuit. He literally came back, cut the biscuit in half, and took a piece. I said, "You just had your own biscuit. Why you take half of mine?"
Right.
No, but that's not even the worst part. So my son took half. I cut myself a piece, and I said, "Honey, would you like a bite?" He took the rest. He was
just greedy.
It was a bite.
Y'all just y'all bites is bites.
Yes. It was the whole
get a bite. It'll be a fourth of my damn sandwich gone. Weight Watchers, you will be over the portion. It's good when we can laugh at each other too.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
That is definitely something that I think has, and you all chime in, that has helped my marriage. Us being friends.
Yes.
Being friends and being able to laugh together.
Yes.
And motivate each other. Even when we don't appreciate it. We don't look like it. We motivate each other to do better. So Lord, forgive us. Lord.
Don't be selfish.
You're right. I am. I have, even though I'm generous in other ways, but it's like certain stuff like I don't want to share. Exactly. What's wrong with that?
So one thing.
I mean, I will share some.
No.
Listen, my son is my size, so I'll come in at any day of the week, and my underwear are gone, my socks are gone, my t-shirts. Only thing he took is my toothbrush, but my pants, my sweaters, my
Right, you
shirts.
can't have nothing.
Ministry got my time. Work got my
You gonna
time.
keep helping them. You just
I
gonna
just-
keep
I'm
egging
just,
them
I'm
on.
sorry.
If I want
I'm
a chicken sandwich, that's gonna be mine and mine alone.
So this is what I was gonna say, even to the selfish folks. What I was gonna say is
My
what
first try.
one of the things.
Listen,
Listen, one of the things that our spiritual mom said though is that normally there is a root to everything that we do, even as it pertains to him saying, "I don't want to share my food," like y'all said, because you share everything else, right? So to everything and I think this is really what has gotten us even closer in this pandemic is beginning to ask ourselves, so what's the root of this though?
Yeah.
What is it that the Lord is trying to show me so that I can be free from this, so that it does not negatively impact my marriage, my life, or my children? And so when we do that, we both, like, we have sat in the bed, like, I do some inner healing today. Me too. Walk through some things, and that way we can be whole enough for one another, where it's not always a war between us about what I did, what he did, or what wasn't done.
Right, that tit for tat.
Yeah.
Right. That tit for tat. Now that's something that hubby and I have had to get through, to that tit for tat. Like, look, how we gonna weigh which is worse than the other one?
Yeah.
Like, whoo, child. You about to have me speaking in tongues. Ortavia.
Yes, ma'am.
So I want to get into, what are some things that you have been through in your marriage that you feel like this may have been insurmountable? And I'm gonna start, because we can all talk about the little stuff about, oh, you left your clothes here, or you won't share your food with me, but there are some really seemingly insurmountable things that happen in a marriage, and that's why it's called For Better or For Worse.
Yeah.
You know, that's why it's called For Better or For Worse. And I always say, none of us ever imagined what that for better or that for worse would be. You know, no one gets married saying, oh yeah, we probably gonna go through this. You don't know. You don't know what you're gonna go through, and you don't know what you're gonna do.
Right.
In that moment, and it comes to you. So I want to start with Ortavia. What are the things during your marriage that seemingly, or even during the pandemic, that seemingly were insurmountable, but now you all have, or have overcome them, or may still be struggling with?
Well, I think for us, I want to say time. You know, I kind of like want to say time, because like even before the pandemic, my husband works like 7 days a week, and if I don't plan nothing like a trip or something like that, he will literally work. I mean, he just works. I mean, he's been working since he was a teenager, and he just works like that. Even before we got married, you know, before we met, I'll just say before we met, in my mind, it's like, okay, I got to take a trip at least 3 times a year, at least.
Right.
Now, if I get 2, okay, but at least 3 times a year, because you work so much, you pay bills. You know what I'm saying? You got to spend some time, you know. And so I had to tell him, babe, can you at least put in for a vacation day so we can, you know, spend some time together and things like that. So, and I'm with you when you was talking about, I think it was, I think that was you, Rocky, when you said something about the pandemic, you know, God given, you know, it was something that, you know, God was trying to get our attention. And I totally agree with that, because I think we were like 2 ships passing in the night, just kind of like coming and going. You know, we both work day shift, you know, but I work 10 hours a day, 4 days a week. So my schedule is, I'm off Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, you know. So he works like 7 days. So, and I just was like, babe, you got to give us some time. We need some time. So when the pandemic happened, we both was like, you know, yeah, I was really cheering. I was the biggest cheerleader over here, because I'm like, yay, we get a chance to spend, you know, 24/7. But then, you know, that's when we really started to see, well, dang, I'm upstairs, he downstairs, and what kind of time are we spending? You know, so we would do the Facebook Live for church, and then, you know, I bought some Uno cards and stuff. I'm like, you know, we got, because I've been asking for this time, so now I got it, you know, so I gotta do something with it. So, but I think for us, it was more so time that, you know, but now, you know, we've sat down and talked. So, you know, now he's went on to had an opportunity, for advancement for a job to eliminate some of that time that he's been working too. So I think it helped us out. It helped me out. But I think for me, it was time.
Yeah. And we have to be purposeful about spending time together because we get caught up in the business of life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So how about you, Celeste?
I would say the same thing because my story is similar to Ortavia's. My husband works a lot, and right now, so he always have ever since he's young. We grew up together. So when we were younger, we were being kids, and he was working. That's what he's always been that way. And so now, and it trickled over to adult. And I'm thankful for his hard work, but it's so instrumental to spend time together. And when we do have the time, it's like we have to really, 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 really make the time, because even when we are home, we did make this we made a mistake of raising our daughter in our bed. Okay.
Wow.
They are.
So that's a whole nother story. So even that time spent is become fragile at times, because it's like we did that. And so it's like we have to kind of force time to spend with each other. We do have time. And see, I'm the one that want to do stuff different. He'll spend the time, but he always used to he want to do the same stuff. It's me I'm like you, Ortavia. Let's go somewhere. Let's do that. Let's go to a different restaurant. I'm tired of eating Applebee's. We can let's go get a steak. It was something different. So, it's the same way. And it's still like that today. We're still in the midst of, trying to make time for just me and him.
Because you have children. You said you have children, Celeste. So how old are your children? How many?
I only have the one.
Okay.
And she's 11.
She's 11. Okay. But is she is she your rainbow baby? Is she after the ectopic pregnancies?
No. She's before. So the ectopic pregnancies just recently happened in like the last 2.5 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So she was prior to.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. And so for us, it's the same thing. Just making time. I don't think it's
and being creative with that time.
Just being creative.
You don't always have to spend money to do something.
Right.
But he has the mentality of like, I don't want to go anywhere if I don't have any money, which I understand. I get that. I get that. But
what we gonna do? We got no money.
See, you know what? And shout out to my boo. He just joined. Hey, boo. I get it. But I be creative.
But you know what? My husband is the same. My husband is the same way. But it's free stuff that you could do to spend time together.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You can walk the river walk. That's free. You can ride through downtown and just simply look how beautiful it is.
But
that's free.
Okay, so y'all
watch a movie together. We watch movies together and discuss. We watch a movie together and discuss it.
Remember, we wanted to get out the house. So we out the house. We need to do something free with zero money. Go river walk.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's the time. You can have a picnic. Profit right. You can have a picnic.
I guess women.
You can have a picnic.
You get a picnic.
Okay, a picnic when it's warm.
Right.
Yes.
But picnic, that means you got some food, right? Food.
Yeah.
From home.
You have to buy
food from home. No, but you gotta buy food anyway, regardless.
So you want to take the house, the food that we got at the house, take it outside to the park.
Okay. You can do a chicken salad. You got some crackers, some sandwich.
You can get you a rotisserie chicken.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's still gonna cost us $20. I'm
You ain't
just saying.
You got $20 though.
But see, the thing is you go grocery shopping anyway. You can
Yeah,
just
you
go
and you gotta spend that money to buy food anyway.
Let's go into the
But
next
that's
one.
but that's
You know
creative.
what,
That's
yeah.
being creative.
I'm trying to tell you.
And see, that's me. I'm that spontaneous girl. Let's go. And he come home.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a whole bunch.
It
Dang. What you got up on?
I need to hear what look at that
I know my husband, I
face.
just know he got
Nakia.
Nakia, what you got to say, girl?
Y'all know I got a whole lot to say.
Yeah. Right, because I see the kids over here pursing them lips together. We'll come back after the song.
Now come on, here we go. Name one place we've ever gone from church and anywhere else where we did not spend any money.
I wasn't none of the people that said doing stuff was for free.
Oh, cuz.
I
Okay,
wasn't
but I do
doing
wanna
it.
come back.
What I'm saying is
He said, "What if I don't have
that is
$20?"
part of our relationship. You got to put some money aside. If I see you doing everything else, you can spend $20 on a picnic, on
Right.
anything else.
I'm saying it's gonna cost.
It is, but
That's all I'm saying.
you order 550 pairs of shoes, so plan.
Ooh.
Mm.
Y'all hold on. We gonna
Well,
continue. You hear him, Octavia?
Yeah.
well,
When we come back, we're
So
gonna
it
come
was
to that.
307.
Wow.
well.
Then what? Well, then
Because the truth of the matter,
I'm gonna tell
if you
him,
ain't got $20
the
first,
chicken out the house.
You got
no.
$20.
If you don't have
want to spend it
$20,
on
we
that.
should not be married. If we, between the two of us, we don't have $20, we
Right.
should not be
Right.
married.
We got at least.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And this is what I appreciate about him in a way. He's disciplined where he'll have the money, but he's like, I don't want to spend it because I'm gonna need it for something else. And I'm like, well,
But you have to invest in your marriage.
To invest.
You have to invest in your marriage as well.
You do.
I didn't never say that. You see, and I was silent. I didn't say no money.
I'm saying
I'm not
we ain't gonna work.
I'm saying when I say
don't take me nowhere with no
just
money.
get
I
creative.
know that's right.
Don't take me nowhere.
They want us
stood up and everything.
Don't take me nowhere with no money. What if something happens? Like when we went to the concert and they told the car, "Oh, don't take me
Completely
nowhere."
told my car.
Yeah.
Yup.
I know.
And it, of course ain't no signs.
Happened to some friends. Oh, that's how they get you down there.
No
Happened to
sign at
some
all.
friends.
They took like 70 cars.
It was like a million cars.
They're like, we got to get divorced if I don't have $20.
See, I don't mind. I don't mind doing free stuff.
Between the two of us.
And then it's
If
gonna
I'm
cost
not
us
a good
more to
steward
get
of you-
divorced.
Oh, really? Lord.
Right. So you might as well invest. So you might as well invest in the stuff that's gonna be creative for your marriage. Then if it's gonna cost you more for a divorce.
Ah,
Y'all better
we
ask
is cutting
somebody.
up.
I'm saying
Cut off?
that we don't mind paying,
Divorce.
but don't tell me it's gonna be free. Because it ain't gonna be
I
free.
mean, well, I'm saying sometimes.
I know we don't do
I'm
stuff.
gonna take you
Man,
on
like
a
I
free
like them. Yes,
You want to take me on the
I'm
what?
a-
Ooh, they're Mr. and Mrs.
Oh.
Smith, just like us.
I know we don't do stuff for free. We don't do a lot of free stuff.
Ben is like, you're right. You do need some money. You're right. Ben is like, I like them. Boo, and guess they the chapter of their book is Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Mhm.
So yes, they yeah. Okay. So my question before the break was, what have you all been through that is seemingly insurmountable? And I heard Ray mention earlier, and this is something that my husband and I have struggled with. Ray mentioned earlier that Nakia makes 3 times more than you.
3 times.
You probably exaggerating, but
Am I?
So what I make,
That's how.
okay. So
Yeah.
hold on. So that's a similar issue that my husband and I have, that I make more money than him. But my thing is, just bring what you got to the table. I appreciate that you're a hustler, but at times that has been a point of contention with us, because I feel like it's a pride thing for men. And sometimes I feel like it's not my responsibility to make you feel better about it. Like, I'm not throwing it in your face. I'm willing to share with you, but I think sometimes men feel like if they can't move a certain way, they're not moving. And women are like, we're moving and we just gonna figure it out.
So I don't have a problem with her making more money than me, but I know that what my responsibility is my responsibility. Once I'm done with that, I'm done. I don't have anything left. There are no more extras. And so we was talking about going on free dates.
You know what? I'm gonna send you a list.
Send me a list.
Y'all
of
who's
3
watching
things,
still on Facebook Live, could y'all drop some free
stuff. Even if we go to church,
minimal cost.
I'm gonna give at church. So But if everything is already spent and it's my responsibilities that have been taken care of, and now you're like, oh, we want to go somewhere. Well, no, we can't go anywhere. Are you paying? Okay, then let's go. But don't expect me to do it because I've taken care of all the other responsibilities.
Boo, this is
So first of all,
y'all
though-
like the same person. Boo, you hear this? Like the same damn person. I swear I done heard the same damn stuff.
But what we listen is that we are one. We are a unit. So what I got, you got, right?
So what I
Now,
got,
but let's be clear.
That's
though.
right.
Let's be clear. I never mention anything, guys. Everybody watching live about no free date. Don't take me on no free date.
Right. I do. You
I
guys
don't
spend a
want to go on
little.
no free date. I don't go on nobody's free date. If I left, if my husband passed away today, tomorrow, next year, 50 years, I'm not no free date. Everybody needs to hear that. No free
Right.
date.
I don't think we were saying like a free, like you
Yeah.
know, date and
No,
that.
I wasn't saying
Yeah,
that.
we wasn't saying a free date. She was just
Yeah.
saying what can you do
Right.
that's
Even on
free
the
that
budget.
don't cost a lot of money. I mean,
Right.
because like I said, whatever me and my husband do, it's gonna cost.
Yeah, me too.
Right.
Same
Yeah,
here.
there's a cost to it. That's all. I mean, that's so when I say no free date, it's
Yeah.
not too expensive, but
Right.
let's do something.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Let's clarify because I
Yeah, because we rarely do.
I'm
We
just
don't
saying,
really.
yeah.
I'm just saying, like, if it's even if you're on a budget, it's things that you can do.
You do on a budget, right? Right.
Absolutely.
Because everything we do is costly. But I'm saying it's like,
Right.
you know, because everybody don't have, you know,
Right.
to
Right.
do. But it's some things that you can do to spend quality time with you,
Right.
with each other, and don't cost
Right.
a whole lot.
Yeah, but I think what's important
What
though
do you say?
is the sacrifices that we make though. You know, I think having the ability to understand that even if you make a fragment of what your wife makes is the sacrifices that you are willing to make. So if
Yeah.
that is, you know, I only got $25, but I'm going to take my wife and we're going to get us a burger from Burger King because the Whopper is now 99 cents, and we're going to sit in a car and we're going to talk and keep maybe I pull out of my pocket her favorite candy or something. That shows that you have
Yes.
considered
Right.
your partner.
Mhm.
I think that's really what the
Come on,
focus
somebody.
is, and not just about the
Mhm.
money that you spend. It's
Yeah.
about how you consider your mate and how you make sure that they feel included in what you're doing.
Okay.
Most times, the reason we have problems with the time and things of that nature is because we do think about the simple things, like literally take me on a ride. Let's go ride. Let's go look. Let's go window shop. Let's you might have seen something that you think that I like, so you like, hey. Or I mean, we don't even have to necessarily go window shopping. Sometimes he pull it up online and be like, check this out, and I'd be like, that's me all day. But it's because you've considered me, and that's something super simple. But I was on your mind because when you saw that dress, she was like, oh, she would kill that, you know. So it's those small things, though. I don't think it really is about the amount of money, because I've had really expensive dates and they were pointless.
Right.
You know, I'm like, you done spent all of this money and I'm still hungry because that food.
Oh
just
my
looks
God, for real. For real.
The pretty plate, the
I
pretty
want to get full.
pretty. Yeah, I
for
want
real.
to be able to eat. Don't
Yeah.
plate restaurant.
Yep. Yep. I'm with it. So
Yeah, I want to eat.
that was
I wanna-
perfectly stated. That was perfectly stated. So
See, that was a prime example of free. You know, if he might not have the finances to go out, but he's saying, hey, he's considering you. You know, saying, hey, look at this, let's do it. You know, just another way of another way of doing things, and it don't cost nothing for him to pull out his phone and just say, hey, babe, I'm thinking about you this way. You good? You know,
I do like when he bring me my chips though. Sometimes
That's like
my favorite chip.
listen, from the ghetto station.
Their favorite chips.
He bring me a burners or something.
Yeah,
And
he
the
bring
thing
me
is, he
a
always
Diet Pepsi
asks
and my
me,
favorite
right?
chips.
Yeah,
Always
just
asks me
being
what do you
considerate.
or just because.
Yeah, that's all it takes. It's the small things too. You know,
Right,
the small
like-
things.
No, I
The
do
small
that.
things matter. I'd be geeked up. He'd be like, I got a surprise. And I'd be like, what's a surprise?
Right.
And it's my chips. I mean, you gotta go to the ghetto gas station first. He done risked his life for me.
I mean, I'm from the east side. I don't know why people be so scared.
You know what? I'm fellow East Sider too,
Listen,
right? You
I've
know
been
what?
to the west side, and I've been like, Satan, the Lord rebuke you. I need
Exactly.
some angels. I need
Especially
Jesus,
that
Mary,
Brightmoor
Joseph.
area.
Listen,
That Brightmoor area. I mean,
but I'll go right
But
around
then
the corner
Brightmoor
from
killers is
the
like the
house.
East Side.
Mhm.
They like the East Side.
they should.
They is.
Don't be mad at us.
Because you know the West Side people reject them because they.
I mean, so bullshit in West Side. Wait a minute. So
They
let
wear
me get back to
pajamas
that.
for
What has
$family
been something for y'all though that's been seemingly insurmountable? That
I
you
think
all.
communication. for us. And I think it is because I am one who completely shuts down where he needed communication. So we were at like complete opposites of the world where my safety was silence and his was like, I need you to say something. If you're not saying anything, I have nothing to go on. And that was like a war for us because it was like.
And I know that killed the social worker in you.
Ooh, listen,
ooh,
say
right.
something.
Yes.
I don't know what direction I'm supposed to go in.
Right.
If I'm supposed to be still mad, if I'm
Right.
supposed to, and then because we are spiritual and social work and all of this stuff, like you can still sense that. So I walk in the room and I'm like, oh, what did I do now? Ooh. And then she's like, hey, you okay?
So let's
I'm
get back
fine.
to the root though. Is that because I've definitely learned that a lot of my childhood trauma and things that happened to me during my formative years show up in my marriage.
Yeah, so a lot of it was childhood, some of it was my first marriage. So it was a combination of things. It was, it was safety in my silence. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not making you mad, but I'm figuring out what I feel about this. So that way I can work through it. I don't need you to help me work through it. I'm gonna figure it out. Because that's what I was trying to do, was figure it out. I was the person who figured out everything, bills, life, something went wrong, make sure it still happened for the kids. That was always my task. So that's what I knew to do. So in my shutdown, it was, how do you fix you? So what's wrong? What really is the problem? That's where I would be. And so while I'm there in my head, he going crazy. And to me, it just was, this isn't safe, so I can't tell you what I really feel because I don't know how you're going to respond. Had nothing necessarily to do with him, had everything to do with my previous experiences and what I was afraid of.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that Dr. Cheryl talked to us about was our ability to see each other instead of our previous relationships, our previous wounding, because there was a time we were arguing, we were yelling, and I listen, y'all, I've always been thin, and I just gained some weight, and so I was always like 6'1", 125, 130 pounds.
Ew.
So I've always been like a rail. I'm strong, but I've always been really
glad you
skinny.
gained some weight.
Right.
Good.
But right. Then I was like 180, 190, all muscle. So that was different. But as a kid, I had to come out the gate like ready, swinging, yelling, scaring you, because once you got me, you got me. So we had this huge argument at the house, and she jumped up off her bed. And so I knuckled up like, oh, she gonna come at me. Mind you, my ex-wife, we used to fight. Well, we didn't
physically?
Fight. We didn't fight.
Fight?
We didn't fight.
Right.
She fought. You ever see Lifetime? You ever see a crazy white chick that's always she's white. So she was that.
Your ex-wife is white?
Yes.
Oh.
She was a light.
Glad you came back to the black side.
Listen, our
He brought it on black. Brought it on black.
I'm sorry. I digress.
I got free. So we pots, pans. One time she walked in and just slapped me. Like, and if you're gonna fight a white woman, you're gonna be in jail. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At
White man too.
Hit me in the mouth, and that was the next day she left. But all I saw, and then I've had fights and relationships where we fought and friends, and just so I was always ready to defend myself. So when she jumped up, all I saw was them.
You went to animal brain.
Absolutely.
Our last show was on domestic violence, and we were talking about that. Remember when Dominique said that, Robin? You go into fight, flight, or freeze. You go. You go into animal brain. Like I'm in survival mode. I don't see. I'm reflecting back to that past trauma. Right. Yeah.
But then she, at the same time, has been in past relationships where she's been in abusive relationships. So now you see your abuser. I see my abuser. I'm ready to fight. Yeah. She's ready to escape.
I gotta protect myself.
And so now we just both and we had to realize that she is not her or them or any one of those people. I am not him or her or them or any one of those people. We are on the same team. So there are going to be times we say things to each other that may hurt, but it's not meant to hurt. I'm not coming to hurt you. We're the same team. We're working to build the same thing. And the minute that thing started to make sense to me, it was like, oh, okay, there's going to be times where she did have to swallow a net.
Did you swallow the nut?
You didn't swallow it.
Oh my God, I hope not.
I swear to God, I just breathed it in.
Oh, Lord, I hope not. Well, they say you.
Well,
You know,
amen,
protein.
because it was getting on my nerves.
Listen, it's gone now. See, we on the same team. So if sometimes you got to swallow a gnat,
Robin, we need some deep cleaning in here, Lord.
sometimes you just got to swallow a gnat and get the
Lord,
job
Say
done.
swallow that.
That is marriage. Lord Jesus. You a good husband.
Now, she did mention that I do have some things that are, I'm sure they would bother several people. I found this website. It's called Boohoo Man. You got to check it out, Ben. It's called
Ben,
Boohoo
please
Man.
Don't tell him that.
Please don't. Please don't.
And
Click
I
off,
found
click off.
shoes and clothes. Like I found a pair of great shoes, $10. They were $10, right? And so I ordered those, and then I saw some more, and I just kept ordering. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And so every other day I would just be getting another pair of shoes. So I had this whole wall rack of
So
shoes.
listen, why you talk about how I'm making more money than I don't shop like you shop.
You know
okay?
what?
They look dirty, man.
I don't shop like he shop.
But
This flexible spending he have, trust me, y'all. The truth is he probably make 2 times what I make.
no, but what it is I know how to spend money. So most people will go and get $100 and go to the store and get a shirt and a pair of pants. I'll come out that mug with 5 pairs of pants, a pair of shoes, t-shirts, socks, and underwear.
Right.
But let's be clear, it's all stuff that he does not need. Like our house right now, like we
Your pack rat?
literally not pack rat. We both have like billions of shoes and
I
clothes.
wear all my shoes.
And even in planning to move into a house, it's like we need literally a bedroom a piece for a closet.
Oh, Lord. So y'all are planning to join your households now? Is that
Well, we're already, the pandemic caused us to be together.
Right.
But,
okay?
But
That's
the other house is still there,
yeah.
and the house that we're in now is actually my childhood house.
Yeah.
And so, but both are too small for all of our stuff.
Yeah.
All of my stuff and all of her stuff. So we need at least a 4 or 5 bedroom house with 2 or 3 bathrooms, 2.5, maybe 3 bathrooms, a basement. That's what we need.
Lord, y'all gonna need a
The
cedar
kitchen has
closet
to
too,
have
probably.
time.
Yes.
Lord,
You
bless
seen
you.
Potomac? Is that it?
Yeah, Housewives
What's her
of
name?
Potomac.
No, it's Married to Medicine. Married
Oh
to
no, I
Medicine.
haven't seen that.
Oh,
I
what's her
watched
name? Got a 2-story or
Oh, yeah,
3-story
it's a-
closet.
Yeah.
Amazing. That's exactly what we need. Her shoes are like in a wine cellar. So like you can put them, it's so
You
amazing.
know what?
That's what we need.
Wow.
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 Yeah, bless them.
Wow.
So, okay, y'all, we done dished enough about our dirt. Let's get some advice now. Let's wrap it up with some advice for people because overall, I want to encourage people to get married, to stay married, because I do not envy the single life at all. Jesus, thank you. Do not want to be single out in these streets because it's treacherous. So I'm gonna start with Ortavia. What is some advice that you can give to people who are married, gonna be married, some lessons that you learned? And then we'll go to Celeste and then the shipments.
Well, the first thing that I would say, marriage is for grown people. That's first thing. Marriage is for grown people. If you still want to run the streets, you still want to hang with your friends and people you grew up with and still living a single life, marriage is not for you. Marriage is for grown people. That's number one. Number two, you got to realize that you are on the same team. You're on the same team. You got to work together. Number three, marriage is a job. It's work. It's hard work. You have to manage, you have to supervise, and you have to be a team player to help your marriage stay afloat. You gotta work it. I mean, you gotta lock in, and it's like you against the world in so many words, because you're gonna have the exes, the nexus, and everybody else trying to come in to your marriage. So you have to work. You gotta be on the same page, and you gotta be reading from the same book. Period. At all times. That's the advice I would give. It's more, but that's the beginning.
Okay. Like part one. Part one. Okay.
Right.
What about you, Celeste?
Well, I will say communication, of course. I think a lot of times we start relationships and we don't teach people how to treat us. And so when the relationship moves forward unknowingly, because you don't know which way the relationship is going, and things remain the same as they did in the beginning, we seem to have expectations of that other person of what they should know and how they should treat you, but it becomes a problem because you never taught that person how to do it. So how do you communicate that? It's from the beginning. And so I just found that a lot of times I expected my husband to know certain things, to react to certain things. And when he didn't do it, I didn't like it. And so I didn't like it because I never told him certain things. I never taught him he knew some things that I liked, but he didn't even know what I needed. Some things I didn't know he needed or even wanted because we didn't communicate that in the beginning. You just start the relationship and you just move forward. But that would be the best advice I can give is from the beginning, no matter what relationship you're in. You teach people how to treat you from the beginning, because if you don't, it'll remain how it was.
So I have a strange, well, not strange, but I guess I've come to feel like we should not be expecting things of people all the time because people are human.
Yeah, they are.
And I've had to teach myself that, like, to say, oh, this is my expectation, because when a person does not meet that expectation, disappointment comes.
Yeah.
That's it.
So yeah,
So that's what I'm saying.
that's a line I have to teeter sometimes and be like, well, how can I expect this when they might not be capable or willing to give me what I'm expecting in certain moments? So we got to be careful with that, because the person might not be equipped to give you what you expect. But I agree, you need to be clear on what you
and I think a lot of times we expect 100% from people, and can't nobody give you 100%. And so you have to make a decision. So we have to make a decision that if this person is only capable of giving you 70%, are you willing to accept that 70 and work with the other 30?
Yeah.
So I think because we're talking about percentages, one of the things that I heard Bishop T.D. Jakes say, and I really live by this, is that sometimes, like, I'm a gallon lover, you might be a pint. You can give me 100% of you, but you a pint, so you ain't gonna fill me up necessarily, right? That's not necessarily a bad thing on you. And I think sometimes we're trying to measure, oh, that's only 70%. No, this is all I really have.
Yeah, right.
Because your capacity is different. Your capacity is enlarged. You can't hold me to that same standard. One of the things I think that's important it isn't as much as teaching somebody how to treat you, but being your authentic self always, so that way I know how to handle you. You know what I'm saying? I think oftentimes we go into relationships because of our previous things. We're so fearful that we'll lose this person. So you compromise, you shift, you accept, you adjust, versus just being you. So that way I know that this doesn't work. This may harm you. Instead of us trying to put on faces so that this works and I smile through it. Well, I can deal with this. No, I have some deal breakers. This is what they are, but I need you to know who I am. So that way we aren't at the different sides of the world where now we're divorced or separated because I wasn't my authentic self. So you can't really give me what I need if you don't know who I am.
Exactly.
It's not always going to be, like you said, that 100%. Like, people are like, it needs to be 50-50. Well, I'm like, you're going to be single for a long time if you your relationship
50-50. And 50-50 is not going to work, because if you're only giving 50, who the other 50% going to?
And what if your
you know what? Or
come on, somebody. Come on, somebody. Where the bell? Ring the bell.
Seriously, think about it.
Somebody.
Yeah, seriously.
But it's just like you have to learn how to stand in the gap for your mate at times, because it's just like you have to complement each other. It's not absolutely. They may be, and that's just with any good partnership. You get with someone who has strengths in certain areas where you have weaknesses, or where you have needs and challenges. It's not, you can't expect them to be the way that love you the way that you're gonna love them all the time. It's not gonna be it. Sometimes you have to sacrifice it. Now, of course, if it gets to the point where you're just giving, and they're taking,
Yeah, taking now.
that's one thing. But again, sometimes I think we get caught up in, oh, this is what I expect. This is because I did it this way. You should be doing it this way. And it's like, it ain't always gonna be like that.
So I also think though, like, and this is just advice to anybody who's looking to get married.
Yeah, let's go to you all's advice. Yeah.
I think that you have to also have the ability to be accountable for what is your responsibility. I think oftentimes we look at what we see marriage for other people look like, and we try to force our partners or our spouses into those spaces versus it being our marriage, our relationship, the way that and then I'm accountable for what is my responsibility. You're accountable for what is your responsibility. And I can't force you to do that, right? All I can do is do what is my job. If you don't do your job, if you negate your job, that is all on you. It's just like my relationship with God. So when I get to heaven, I cannot tell him, oh, well, Prophet Ray didn't, because that's not going to be good enough. So what I focus on is what is my responsibility. What am I supposed to be adding? And even in prayer, I normally pray, let me be the wife that my husband needs me to be, God. Let me be the mother that my children need me to be.
Yeah.
That's about what I want to do. And in doing that, you find that there's a lot more peace because I'm not focused on what he hasn't done, what's wrong, and that's how I'm responding. What I'm focused on is making sure that I've done my job, making sure that he feels supported, making sure that the kids understand that they're not alone, making sure that I'm doing what is, again, my job. And if you do that part, then you're only focused on
what you're supposed to be doing.
And
that's exactly right. So Sabrina said that she had a Facebook post. Oh gosh, I'm trying to think, where she was saying pretty much that same point where you have. She was in therapy for her. A lot of times people think they should go to marriage therapy. Well, really, you need to get individual therapy. And that's something I told my friend too when she was going through some marriage struggles. I was like, start focusing on improving you. And once you start focusing on improving you, you ain't gonna have time to focus on what he's doing wrong. And that will hopefully encourage him
to get some work.
Because really you gotta that's what we realize when we get into the marriage. We have some stuff we have to fix with ourselves before we get into the marriage. So we got 5 minutes. I want to wrap it up with Prophet Ray as far as the advice.
Something that I tell all people if we're kind of counseling them regarding getting married for the first time is and this may sound funny, but the issue is that if you have never seen them upset and you have never seen them happy, sad, it's only going to get worse. It is only going to get worse. So if you feel like you can't deal with them angry, sad, mad, happy, or whatever right now, then marriage is only going to bring out the absolute best and the absolute worst in them. If you feel like you can't handle it while you're dating, then just be done, because it's going to get absolutely worse. And then you're going to have money involved, children, houses, and it's so much easier for you to make that choice. The second thing would be, if you're going to get married or you're already married, figure out if this is what you really want to do and stick to it. Find your stick-to-itiveness. And no matter what wind blows, whatever the issue is, remember that we are a team and we are going to stay married, period. Here would be the last thing that I would suggest and that I would give advice for. It would be, make sure you find the fun and hold on to it. You're marrying your partner, you're marrying your friend, and you're marrying somebody that you should be able to share the best and the worst times. Don't allow the worst times to be the largest times.
Yes, thank you. We tend to more about the bad than the good. Yes.
Everybody has said it. They said you can find the free ones, but find,
you know what?
find some fun. If it's Uno, if it is Monopoly, if it is sitting at the park or at the mall watching people, and y'all just sit and key and laugh and talk about people. Go to a church service. Let me tell you, go to a church service.
My husband are good for that.
For real. Go to a church service and sit in the back.
Oh, child.
Sit in the back and just watch.
What is the denomination of your church?
We're Church of God in Christ.
Okay. Oh, coach it.
Yes. But see, so here's the thing about our church. Even though our denomination is, I am recognized as a prophet in the Church of God in Christ. Our church is not ran the way that most culture churches are.
Oh, okay.
She is the body life pastor. My parents are the outreach pastors. I have a women's pastor, I have a men's pastor, we have a youth pastor, and we call all of them pastors. The men sit in the pulpit, the women can sit in the pulpit. We do inner healing, we do deliverance, all kinds of stuff. And so, I have a box of outreach condoms that I have in my office. We have needle exchange stuff that we have in
I
my
love
office.
it.
So we are a community driven, understanding that we're a holistic person, spirit, soul, and body. So we're ministering to the whole of
What's the name of the church?
Walk in the Spirit.
Okay. I mean, located where?
Walk in the Spirit, located at 11648 Whittier in the
East
city of
side.
Detroit, Michigan.
Robert, let's get ready to go on our last song.
48224.
Spend My Life by Eric Benet.
Oh,
I'm
that's
sorry,
a good
four-
song. 48224. Service on Sunday mornings are at 10:30, and we not like most of these black churches. We start on time, and service is usually about an hour and a half.
The kid like, yes,
Seriously.
Lord. You
In
better be
addition
there
to
on
that,
time.
we have a food pantry. No, ma'am, we done.
Service is done. God bless
We
you.
have
Y'all
food
hour,
pantry
in and
too.
out, in and out, in
Yes.
and out.
We have a food pantry too that's open Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 10 to 12:30, and anybody in the city can come and get food. And then on Sunday, if you're there and you need food, we have food there too. So we're working.
Get the address again, because I was talking over you,
Okay.
getting her the next song. Sorry.
11648 Whittier, Detroit, Michigan 48224. You can contact us at Wits Ministries, WITS Ministries @gmail.com or prayshipman@gmail.com.
I love it. Well, I might have to have you back for the Black Church episode, because I want to talk about how the Black Church needs to be more servicing the community instead of servicing themselves. We
Yeah,
gonna come back with that
yeah.
Black Church.
Come back with the Black Church.
I'm just saying, part 2 of Black Church is coming, y'all. Well, I thank all my guests. Shout out to Tanisha Johnson. Thanks again. Marriage Uncut, Part 3. Y'all can get that at soitiswritten.net.
Yes, get the book.
Okay. Thank you to all my guests for sharing your
Thank
world
you
with
for
me.
having us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us. Thank
I
you.
will see everyone back here. We are back on the air November 12th, and we will be discussing colorism.
Oh, that's gonna be good.
Yeah, child.
Again, yellow.
Brown,
Yellow.
all of
Listen.
that, hunty. Yes. Yep.
That's
Yes,
gonna be
we
good.
are.
I just finished doing a paper for school about that.
What you in school for?
My MSW.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Are we done?
What happened? Oh, okay.
I was talking about
Oh, with the MSW?
we have an army of kids that just act up.
Right. I was just in a shootout.
Oh,
Who texted you that though?
are they okay?
I was just in a shootout. Clearly, because you texted.
This is one of y'all kids?
Yes.
Oh, wait, let's click off. Okay, we'll see you later, ladies. Thank you.
Good to see you again.
How old are y'all kids?
Hi, the kid.
It's on when they